How you doing?
I'm afraid to ask you a question because I don't want you to hang up on us and then never forgive me and take it as a shot. I'm terrified to do this, okay? So I'm going to do it, but I mean it as a gag, okay?
Don't live in your fears, Ken.
How's our second Super Bowl window looking right now?
Well, this is what it is. You may not like it, but that's what it is. It's the beginning.
I don't like it.
It's the beginnings of the foundation for where they're going over the next how many every years. It's the beginnings. It's a class full of some really, really good players, and there will be another one coming next year. And these two classes will form the foundation of Super Bowl window 2. And you can argue with that all you want, but if you look at Quinshawn and you look at Harold Fannin and you look at some of these other rookies like Carson Schlesinger and Mason Graham, that's what you're seeing now. You're seeing where the Browns are going with this in the future, providing everyone can survive this very difficult time.
Mary Kay, thank you very much. I pray to God that happens, because right now it's hard to keep the faith. Go ahead there, Tone.
Yeah, it's tough for me to sign off on a Super Bowl window yet until obviously you get a quarterback in place. And look, you're assuming maybe next year they do that, or I don't know, maybe a bridge quarterback again. You're seeing some quarterbacks, they have been revived in their second or third or fourth place. So I guess that's all potential, right? But when it comes to the rookie class, like I really like the rookie class. How many of them need to be special, though, for us to talk Super Bowl? I think they're good. Is anybody special from this rookie class?
But I feel like you guys are misunderstanding the concept of Super Bowl window. I did not say that this is a Super Bowl team or next year's even a Super Bowl team. But these are the beginnings of what they hope will be their Super Bowl window to eventually go out and win a Super Bowl. First, you build the foundation, and then you try to get there. Super Bowl window 1 was supposed to include Deshaun Watson being good, and that didn't happen. But it included guys like Denzel Ward, Myles Garrett, David Njoku, Jerry Jeudy, and on, and an offensive line that was pretty good 2-3 years ago and can still be good if they rebuild it. But the Super Bowl window, it's not. That doesn't mean that you're going to get there this year or next year. It means that you are building the foundation for a team that should be able to contend.
All right, Mary Kay Cabot joining us on the hotline. So I keep hearing national people kind of parachute into Cleveland, weigh in on our situation, and then they all continue to say the same thing. Like, how is Stefanski supposed to really run an offense when this is the offensive line, these are the receivers, these are the quarterbacks? So if that's the case, isn't that more of a sweeping indictment on the GM?
No, I mean, I think that this wasn't supposed to go this way this year at all. They were supposed to win. I think they were supposed to win 7 or 8 games is what the hope was, that you take a step up this year and then a step up again next year. And the quarterback thing went awry, and that's what we're looking at here. They're not supposed to be playing Dylan Gabriel yet. They're not supposed to be contemplating when they might want to play Shedeur Sanders. That was supposed to come later in this season. And again, it was supposed to be Kenny Pickett. Whether that would have worked out or not, we don't know. Joe Flacco was supposed to hold down the fort, and the turnovers were unsustainable in their minds. They couldn't deal with that anymore. So that's why you're looking at an early pivot to the rookie class. And it's painful. And again, it really wasn't supposed to be this way. I think there probably ultimately will be revisionist history where people will look back on this and say, oh, they were just tanking again like they did back in the day. I still don't even think they were trying to tank back in that day. I think they just had a really, really bad draft after they traded away from Carson Wentz. They had, 12, 13, 14 picks, and none of them or many of them just didn't work out. So I thought that was kind of revisionist history to call that a tanking type of situation. I don't think they were supposed to do that. And I don't think they're supposed to be doing that this year. Nobody wants to go through this. And in my opinion, nobody needs to go through this. You don't have to tank in today's NFL to get good. You just have to restock. You have to draft well. You have to acquire players well in trades. And to an extent, they did that. But in this particular iteration of the Cleveland Browns The quarterback thing just did not work out at all. And I'm going to be very curious to see what happens with Jackson Dart over the next how many ever years, because if he turns out to be really, really good and this current quarterback class isn't as dynamic as everyone thought it would be, that's going to go down as a challenging miss.
What's going to happen with Deshaun Watson then?
I think after the bye week, Deshaun Watson is going to be reevaluated. I don't know that he's ever going to get on the field this season. I think they want to take a look at their young guys, their rookies. I think that after Dillon, it's going to be Shedeur. So I don't know if there's ever going to be a world in which Deshaun gets on the field. And I know that most people don't want that to happen anyway. So I'm not sure what the Browns' thinking is with that. I do know this. He feels good, and he wants to play this season. He wants to play, and he feels like he's going to be ready to do that. And who knows what's going to be happening with their quarterback situation by the time he is ready or feels ready to do that. But I don't think the Super Bowl window, the Super Bowl window, I don't think the practice window will be open until sometime after the bye week when he undergoes some further exams.
And just to make clear, Mary Kay Cabot joining us on the show, when you say most people don't want that to happen, you're talking about fans, or are you talking about...
fans. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm talking about fans. The Browns speak very, very highly of Deshaun Watson and his work ethic and everything that he's brought to the table in terms of mentorship and all that stuff. This whole entire season since he had this second Achilles surgery. They've been very, very happy with what they've seen and heard from him since then.
All right, well, then that brings me to my next question. You have been following these press conferences. You've seen Kevin Stefanski. Has his demeanor changed at all? Have you noticed anything different about Kevin? Does he seem even more frustrated? Is he being shorter with you guys? Because I know there are relationships there that are beyond just what we see in the press conferences.
No, I don't feel like that at all. I think he's pretty much the same guy every day. I think he was this guy during 3-14. I think he was the same guy when they won 11 games. I really don't see much of a difference in him. Now, everybody has their moods, and sometimes people are more expansive than at other times, but I don't think he's ever very forthcoming at all. I mean, you compare his press conferences to, let's say, a Mike Tomlin's or a Kevin O'Connell's or whatever. They give very, very thorough explanations. They give a lot of information. And I know fans like that, and we like it, of course. So would I like Kevin to give us more in these press conferences? Absolutely 100%. But we badger him over and over and over again with the same questions, trying to squeeze water from the rock, and it's just not coming out. So that's just who he is. And that doesn't mean that he can't coach. I think he's a very good coach. But that's just his persona in these press conferences. And it's not his persona otherwise, because he's got a great personality when when you're with him in other types of settings. He's got a great sense of humor that people don't really see. And, he just chooses to be very, very buttoned up during these press conferences.
Mary Kay Cabot joining us on the Fan Hotline. So for Dillon Gabriel, not very great on Sunday against Pittsburgh. Hopefully coming into his own this Sunday against Miami. Where is Shedeur at progressing? Because I think a lot of us were a little bit surprised that he ended up actually being the number 2 quarterback, considering everything that they did before kind of pointed to Bailey Zappi stepping in as the number 2 quarterback.
Well, remember, some of the things that you hear leading up to a football game are subterfuge and gamesmanship. Not everything that you hear is exactly what the team is thinking. So if Kevin comes out on a Wednesday and tries to confuse people about what he's doing at his backup quarterback, he might just be giving the other team a little bit more to think about. And even though that seems like a tiny shred, at this point, they need all the help that they can get. And if there is one iota of competitive advantage they can get in any way, they're going to try to grab that. So some of that stuff is him just kind of messing with us. But in terms of, I still think, and I wrote this heading into the Steelers game, I still think that Bailey Zappi should have been the backup for that game. And had he been the backup for that game, you may have been able to yank Dillon Gabriel out of there at some point in the fourth quarter after he had already been hit 14 times or 13 times, and maybe spare him number 14, 15, and 16. Maybe you could throw Bailey Zappi in there and let him just finish out that game. But you weren't going to do that with Shedeur. You were not going to throw him to the wolves like that. So I still think that there would have been some wisdom in Bailey being the backup.
All right, we saw how difficult it was for the running game against Pittsburgh. They keyed in on it. There wasn't a lot of success to be had. With that said, Judkins only played 33 of the 82 possible snaps. What sense does that make?
Well, Mike Tomlin set forth to make sure that he was going to shut down Quinshon Judkins. I'm sure that was the goal offensively, as was shutting down and taking Myles Garrett out of the game defensively. And these guys work really, really hard to make that happen. And if you're going to keep running into a brick wall and a stacked box, then you're not going to be making very many yards that way either. Having said that, I still think that you can try. With a guy like Quinshon Judkins, I think you can still try to, if you have to, get some zeros and some ones and some minus ones a few times. I feel like maybe you can try to stick with it a little bit more, especially on the goal line, first and goal at the 3 and whatnot. So I tried to ask Kevin about that again yesterday, and he just said, certainly Quinshon is a big part of what we do. It's going to be easier to run the ball this week. This should be a get-right game for them against the Miami Dolphins. Everything that we think that the Browns are so horrible at is probably going to look a lot better this weekend. It should. It definitely should. And then I think things will start to make a little bit of sense. If they can win this game, they have several other winnable games coming up. They can stack a few wins together. It staves off the toxicity. It staves off the fire the coach talk. It brings players together. It staves off frustration. So they really need to get this victory.
Myles is frustrated, it seems. I said earlier this week, Mary Kay, it doesn't matter to me. He signed his contract. However, I do value his opinion. I think I should value his opinion because I think he can be maybe a barometer for how the team's thinking. If he has a contract where basically he's here now for the rest of his career, boy, he can really tell the truth the way he sees it.
Well, he can, and here's the other thing. Again, this wasn't supposed to happen this way. They were not supposed to be knee-deep in rookie ball right now. Yes, with some of the skill players, but this was supposed to be a year in which the defense was going to be really, really good, and it is championship caliber. And then the quarterback was supposed to play clean ball, not turn it over, run it with Quinshon Judkins, a recipe to win perhaps maybe 7 games if they weren't going to be giving the ball away a ton. So when Myles came in here and said that he was going to help put the team on his back and try to get it to a Super Bowl, and that he was also going to try to win NFL Defensive Player of the Year and win the sack title, he meant all of those things. He was looking at a championship caliber defense, so he could say that with a straight face because he was also assured that the quarterback situation was going to be better than it is right now. It just didn't work out. It didn't work out that way. And so I understand the frustration, and it doesn't matter if you're making $40 million a year. Nobody likes to lose. It's awful. It's painful. You start having players-only meetings. Tua starts calling out his own teammates. Your coaches start, getting on the hot seat. It's just bad for everybody. So I understand his frustration, and I also don't hate a player expressing himself after a football game.
Mary Kay, Jeff Shadell's cat. Thoughts?
Well, I have 2 cats, as you guys probably.
What are their names? What are their names?
They were just fighting a little bit ago. Nikki and Sammy, and they're young. They're like months old, and so sometimes I do have cat escapades myself during certain situations. However, to this point, I have really never gone public with those things, and it was funny. Like, let's take it in all good fun. It was funny, and that's just persona. That's who he is, and we can all take it in just good fun.
Mary Kay, it's wonderful. Thank you so much for the time. We'll talk to you again next week. All the best.
Sounds good. Take care, guys.
The great Mary Kay Cabot, the Hall of Famer from Cleveland.com and the Cleveland Plain Dealer on the Fan Hotline. I value Myles' opinion. I know I've been tough talking like he signed the contract. He's here forever now. But that gives him carte blanche to say whatever he wants to say now. And he can tell it exactly how he sees it. Like I remember I said, like J.R. Smith, I thought he was a great barometer for what the locker room is actually feeling. With his actions, with his words. I thought Odell was the same way. This guy absolutely can be that way. And if by the way, if he wants people gone, he can just go ahead and say it now. What are they going to do? Ain't going to cut him. So he can say whatever he wants to now. I would be paying very close attention to Myles' words tomorrow and for the rest of the season.
I don't know that we're going to get much different from Myles from here on out. He's just, I hate to say it, he kind of seems over it, like already. Kind of seems like a lot of the fans.
I don't know how you heard him on Sunday and think that he's over it. I got to tell you, I think that if he sounded over it, then we're in trouble because we're not going to get there to where we need to go with the young guys.